We're back. How you doing?
Good, and you?
Excellent. Now, it's Monday, and on Mondays we talk about the 48 laws of power.
Correct.
And people have been asking, why do we talk about the 48 laws of power? And one of the reasons is because it's prevalent every day in everything we do. This book. And we're sharing our experiences based on the different laws. Today we're talking about Law 37.
Correct.
And people can, have been commenting. Also, the other day, someone shared a comment that they disagreed with my opinion on it on Law 36, and they agreed with you on it. So they must be confused now. I'm kidding.
No.
But it's cool because it creates an exchange of ideas and opinions. And today was very interesting. You said you struggled with Law 37, which is create compelling spectacles.
Yeah, I had a difficult time with it.
It's an interesting one. Let's go through it. Let's go through it. So this is Law 37, and it's create compelling spectacles. Striking imagery and grand symbolic gestures create the aura of power. Everyone responds to them. Stage spectacles for those around you. Then, full of arresting visuals and radiant symbols that heighten your presence. Dazzled by appearances, no one will notice what you are really doing. No one will notice what you are really doing. And that's Law 37. Create compelling spectacles.
Right.
I was thinking, where have we experienced something like this? And I thought of one situation that we've come across, you and I.
Okay.
And this was a developer that was selling a property, an investment property. And the first thing they hit us with is how big of a developer they are, all the projects that they've done, the projects they have going on. They hit us with everything, right? And created this idea is it called grandeur? Like
grandeur, yeah.
Grandeur, like they know what they're doing, they're excellent, this and that. And they had this property that they had fixed and made it look very nice from the outside. They distracted us and anybody else from the reality that there were a lot of issues with this property. And they were hiding it under the idea of we're big developers, we do this all the time, this is how we do things, right? And so it made me think that really that's, I feel, part of what Robert Greene talks about. People, kind of like a magician, is trying to guide you to look at this hand because the other hand is doing something else. It's taking your watch from you.
Right.
And had to be with these people very, very dotting every I.
It was very unpleasant.
Very unpleasant because of everything they were trying to just hide and get away with. And it's an example that these laws, it doesn't mean that you're going to do this, but people will do this to you.
So be aware of them.
And so be aware of. So that was something that I thought was interesting because they would purposely bring out the shiny new things. It's got a new this, it's got that, it's got this. What, right? Without getting too much into detail, everything's new, blah, blah, blah. But once you dig a little deeper, you realize very superficially done, not done well in some instances.
And in this particular case, we did 3 inspections.
Yeah.
Not 1, 3.
Which is not normal for a real estate transaction.
Normally, you do 1 and you're good to go. Here we had to do, and every time we did one, something else would pop up. And then we needed that to be corrected.
So it's
perfect, actually.
It's an example of not everything that shines is gold. And then all that glitters is not gold. Those are the quotes that I went back to look up. But anyways, that was something I thought, hey, that's an example of real life where people are trying to make you look at, hey, look how pretty this thing is in pictures and all this. But the reality is otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely.
The inspector was saying otherwise, and it created a lot of issues.
It did. It was very unpleasant. They're lying.
At
the end of the day, the bottom line is that they're lying.
It's deceit.
Just like it's deceit.
Yeah.
And, I don't like the law because of that. I wouldn't practice this. But you need to know this law so that when you're on this side of the fence, they're doing it to you, you can realize it. And it's difficult. Like, for example, initially, I thought, oh, okay, well, these people have done this all the time. They are big builders. We looked at their website, everything. Okay, so they
Right.
should be fine. But they weren't.
Well, they were developers.
Yeah, they were developers and they do big projects.
But they had done a
A
cheaply
lousy
done.
job on,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta look a little deeper.
You got to. And, it actually, it's difficult
Yeah.
because they push this onto you and then they kind of, guide you in a certain
Yeah.
direction. Just like you said about the magician with, I want you to look at this hand, but this hand is really doing something else.
Yeah.
Really doing the trick. I don't want you to see that hand. And so, I'm a firm believer that things in real estate and in life, you can do things where you are a win-win situation, on both sides. Okay?
Yeah. You don't have to take advantage of somebody.
Right. And, a lot of the businesses that gets done, like, for example, there's one in particular right now where we're looking at a property and we have first bid on it. We're trying to figure out what would be the cost. The best way is tell your client, okay, well, look, what's the lowest you take on this? Just give me your bottom line. And then I tell you if I'm in or I'm out.
What are you referring to? The price of a
Yes,
property?
yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Because, why hide things?
Oh, you're saying be straightforward with
It's
people.
straightforward.
Yeah.
But, right, that's, because I don't particularly like the law.
Yeah, where have you seen this take place? Where have you come across a situation or
Well, the latest one is that one with the builders.
that was definitely
Yeah. Prior to that, some of this is definitely happening at the corporate level.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah, at the corporate level. You have somebody who is gaining a position of status, but they are showing something different because they want a little bit more time on this project or whatever. This is deceiving. This happens, at the corporate level. I know that Robert Greene talks about his time in Hollywood, which was, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
what he doesn't have a lot of nice things to say about it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the law and the observance of the law is talking about a doctor who's curing people just by using, the power of the moon. And so at the end of the day, they say, hey, they make people believe that they can be cured by looking at the light that is generated from a rock that's out in space 250,000 miles away.
Yeah, just
Give me a
complete
break.
bogus.
Complete bogus. And,
Yeah.
it says people, they want an immediate appeal to their emotions. They don't want to hear rational explanations, The rational explanation, don't give me the rational explanation. I just want an immediate resolution to my emotions, what I want, just give me that. And so the law is, I haven't come up, I try very hard to stay away from people, that are deceiving and this and that. And
Yeah.
at this stage in my life, at this, age, I can pretty much,
Try and spot them.
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that you wouldn't be able to put one over me, but it's going to take you, you're going to have to be a master of your trade because I've seen so many inappropriate things, let's say, so many lies, so many backstabs. Because
Yeah.
we come from the corporate world and out there, all you have to do is just get out there on the streets. The streets will teach you.
Absolutely. You talked about corporate, and I thought of another situation where, and this happened a bunch of times, where the company would launch a new product, but at the same, and this product was great, and you would make so much money selling this product because we were in sales, but at the same time, they were lowering your commissions.
Right.
So they're saying, look over here, this great new product. You're going to make so much money if you just do it this way, this way, this way. By the way, in a different conversation, at the same time, they were making a maneuver to lower commissions because I think in any industry, commissions are always challenged. It's happening in real estate currently with all the settlements going on with lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening in where the sellers don't want to pay the commission for the buyer side. Yeah. It happens in the insurance industry. When I was in the life insurance industry, they used to pay very, very high commissions initially because there's very little renewal residual. So you would get a big upfront. And I remember when they chopped it significantly. Sure. But they did it in a way where you could still make this much money if you just do it this way.
If you reach these levels, they kick in another percentage,
which we call pie in the sky.
Right.
Because it's if the stars align, you can get this, and
there
this.
You go.
So they were like, hey, you're really not losing commission, but you were. Most people were. And there were some people that would actually sit down and calculate the way that they, like, if I wrote this much and he's like, I'm doing double the work for the same pay. Some people would actually do the numbers.
Correct.
Because they can tell you one thing, but.
Right. And see, that's looking at the sales force.
Right.
The other side of that coin is that many times, not always, but many times, a new product that the companies would come up with would not have the same benefits for the public.
Correct.
As the old products did. Every now and then they came up with something that was somewhat even or just slightly below. But for the most part, every time a company came up with a new product, there were less benefits being provided to the public.
Yeah.
And so...
Look at the pension plans.
Yeah.
Your father, my grandpa, retired with an amazing pension. He was in the newspaper business.
Correct.
As time has gone by, pensions are almost non-existent.
They're non-existent.
But if they do exist, there are a lot less rich in benefits.
Correct.
Than the previous pensions.
Correct.
So this is what happens, and then there was also, we can get into it, but there was a move where they took the control away from the corporation. They gave it supposedly to the individual by allowing you to have a 401k. But now your 401k, most of them are not guaranteed in any way. This is not investment advice, but your 401k is not like a pension. A pension is a guaranteed payment that company is going to make you.
Right.
A 401k, you could lose half of it tomorrow. You can double it tomorrow, but there's no guarantee.
Correct.
Because you're in the market.
Right.
Stock market. Anyways, all of those things were done, and they do it in a way, and that's what Robert Greene's talking about. It's done in a way where it's made to look visually even more, and he talks about symbols.
Right.
Where they use visual symbols that speak, they say more than words.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this law is for you to be aware of it so that you don't get played by it. And, as I've gotten older, I've been played by a few of
them. I thought of very powerful symbols that have, I think most people they look at the symbol and it says so much. Socialism. What do you think of when you...
Socialism?
Socialism.
Yeah, the
hammer and the sickle.
Correct.
And the hammer and the sickle, I looked it up, and what it's supposed to mean. It's supposed to mean the joining of agricultural with manufacturers.
Okay.
So
that's right. Yeah.
It's supposed to bring together these people. That's what socialism... That's why they use the symbol. A hammer is the manufacturers, the people building things, and the sickle was used to, I guess, harvest the wheat and right. It was used in agriculture, so it was bringing these two people, which are very important, together. These groups of people. That's what socialism was supposed to do, and you can take it from there. But symbols, yeah, the swastika, right? The
Yeah.
Nazis used that symbol, which we were talking about it. I want to look it up because in India, they have a symbol that looks the same, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I want to look
It's
that
very
up.
interesting.
But look at how powerful that symbol is. When people see that, it's like, whoa. There's so
right
much.
now it carries a negative connotation.
Absolutely.
But I'm not sure that that was like that prior to the Nazis using it for themselves. I think it meant something else.
Okay, here it is.
Uh-huh.
In Hinduism,
Uh-huh.
the right-facing symbol clockwise also is called the swastika, symbolizing Surya, the sun, prosperity, and good luck, while the left-facing symbol, counterclockwise, is called a salvastika, symbolizing night or tantric aspects of Kali. So, meaning well-being. I mean, you guys can look it up, BBC. I'll link it. But it says here, Hitler stole it. The world loved it before. The world loved the swastika until Hitler stole it. BBC News.
You know, there's a movie.
I'll link that in the description.
There's a movie that I liked a lot. Yeah. That starts off the movie with symbolisms, and he's giving a presentation. He says, what do you think this is? Well, no, that's not exact. Oh, you know what it is? The Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks.
What was it?
The first 2 minutes of the movie, he starts making a presentation, and he shows certain symbols.
Okay.
And he asks the crowd, do you think what this is? Oh, well, that's not the case. This is this, and that. It's in the Da Vinci Code with Tom Hanks. And just the first 2 minutes gripped me. I remember watching that movie at least 3 times.
Those are good movies.
Yeah.
This symbol here, which you brought up, the Da Vinci Code, is the sign of the
Templars?
the Knights Templar.
Uh-huh.
When I was in Europe,
Okay. They were all over the place.
they were all over the
Is that right?
Yeah, they were all over the place. And you would see these beautiful churches that had all along the pillars and all over the Knights Templar symbol, which is very interesting to me.
For
It was
sure.
because you had gotten me into the Knights Templar, and so I was in. I
They
remember.
invented the credit card.
Huh? Oh yeah, they invented the debt, right? The
Credit card.
the credit system.
The credit system.
The credit system. Yeah, they're
Because, the pilgrims were being picked on and killed and robbed and whatever on the way to Jerusalem. So what they said was, we're going to give you this little piece of paper. It's going to mean that you have this much here. When you get over there, all you have to do is show this little piece of paper, and they'll give you the equivalent of this because we already, So they actually created that banking
instead
system.
of traveling with the gold.
Instead of traveling with the gold. And so, if you got robbed, you say, hey, I don't have any money on me. But
You
when
just had the paper.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And they invented a lot of stuff.
The Knights Templar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
should
look
do a
how powerful
podcast on
that
'em.
symbol is. Yeah. Look
be
how
cool.
powerful the symbol is.
Oh, for sure.
Because, but yeah, I think, I'm trying to think if
They're
it
saying
was.
that they found the Ark of the Covenant all the way under the... or anyway.
I think it
Brought
was.
it back to Europe.
I think it was in. I'm just trying to think. It was in. I'm pretty sure Spain that I saw it
Okay.
in the Spanish churches, but maybe in the French churches.
Well, yeah, too. They were.
Yeah.
That's where they got started. That's
Yeah.
where they got started. I think it was what's the name of this guy? Anyway, we're getting off the law,
Yeah.
but I should remember.
But no,
that.
the law is talking about symbols, and I remember.
Yeah, that's true.
One of my buddies told me, "El deseo entra por los ojos." That our desires, right?
Mhm.
They began through the eyes.
Through the eyesight.
Through the eyes, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I remember always thinking, because I have gone to a restaurant and I see somebody order a smoothie, and it looks great.
Delicious.
And the next time I go there, I'm like, I order that smoothie because it's like, boom, just the visual is so powerful.
Right.
That's what Robert Greene's talking about, that visual is more powerful than words. And if you can create a spectacle, if
Right.
you're trying to guide people, manipulate people, persuade people, whatever you want to use, um, you use symbolism. And he gives the story of it was a French king that had a affair with this lady,
Correct.
and she was much older than him,
Much older than him.
but she used symbolism to represent their union.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, before you knew it, he really liked that symbolism, which was their initials together.
Correct.
And so this King Henry II, I believe, began to
All
put it
over.
on his robe, put it on buildings, put it on, right? And it represented, and so
And the people of the country knew
and the people knew.
that's what it represented.
And he actually, they were seen in public and everything.
Yeah.
And the people accepted them
Right.
together, even
Yeah.
though that was not allowed and all that.
Well, he wasn't married to her. He was
No.
married to a much younger woman, actually from the Medici family.
Right.
And so
Which
all
were
the things that go on in
those
history.
guys were Italian, right? The
Yeah,
Medicis.
yeah.
Extremely powerful.
Oh, yeah,
and
they
these
were
were
bankers. I
these
believe.
were French. This was a French king,
Correct.
I believe.
Yeah.
So
So can you imagine? You marry her so that you can unite the countries, and then now you got
but the lady that he was, what did they call it? It was, it's an affair with this lady. I
yeah.
don't know what they used to call it back in the day, what the lady was to him. They used the word.
Okay.
But anyways, it was very common that the kings had these mistresses.
Okay, mistress. Yeah.
But
Concubine.
as they became older, right? That's what Robert Greene was talking
As
about.
the mistresses became older.
As the mistresses became older, the king would move on.
Yeah.
But this one particular mistress was able to captivate this king in a way.
And he started dating her or whatever, having an affair with her at the age of 17.
Yeah, it lasted 20 years or more,
Right.
their affair.
Until she passed.
But one of the things that she did was that she compared herself to a goddess.
Correct. That's
and,
right.
And all of a sudden she began to put sculptures and different things of this goddess. And the king began to say, oh, she's this goddess. She's like an incarnate version or whatever. Anyway, so it's using symbolism. And a lot of the brands that we follow, and I mean, if you look at the Apple iPhone, it's an apple. Nike. They're using a symbol. It's very powerful.
It's true. It's very powerful. You're right. And so is Robert Greene. Represents tremendous power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just think about it. Nike, Apple, like you said.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Because these symbols, there's a lot of meaning behind them.
Right. I mean, they're international. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
So
yeah, anyways, this one was interesting because I struggled also with where have I seen this take place. But yeah, I mean, the famous saying, not everything that shines is gold, or that's because people have been deceived by things that look to be one way and aren't.
Absolutely. It's but you need to be aware of this law. That way when you're being played with it, you realize, okay? Like with this doctor in Berlin,
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But supposedly somebody got cured, and then all of a sudden he got this fame and fortune, and people would come. It was at the beginning, it was just the poor people that were lining up, but then afterwards, the very wealthy came by too.
Right.
And how do you fight it? You've got your fame and fortune, and you charge an arm and a leg, and if something goes wrong, you blame the moon, because he was called the moon doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's they're con artists.
Yeah, that's right.
They're con artists that use spectacles to deceive.
Yeah. You work on people's weaknesses.
Right.
People just want to believe,
Yeah.
What I find criminal is when you have somebody that's bringing in a child or something that's sick, and then you go through this thing.
Well,
This is unacceptable as far as I'm concerned.
it is. However, one could argue that, and Robert Greene brought it up, the placebo effect. Because some of these people truly believed that the moon had these powers and
You're right.
that this doctor was able to do these things. I mean,
It was only when the moon was in the increscent stage.
and we talk about the placebo effect because it actually works, right?
Yeah.
I mean, haven't read the studies or whatever, but I think it's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
If you
it is.
believe something
Oh,
is helping you
yeah.
or to be true,
And it works the other way around too.
yeah,
You're given the best drug in the world, but you don't think it's going to help you, and it doesn't.
yeah,
It's just the mind is the most powerful thing that we have. The
Yeah.
mind is the most incredible computer, and Elon Musk has said this, but before Elon Musk, the mind is the most incredible computer that we have been blessed with, and we just need to feed it good things.
correct.
It's the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. If you feed your mind, it's just like what you eat, spiritually, whatever. You need to make sure that your thoughts are going in the right direction, meaning they're positive, they're creative, motivational. Because if they're not, you're going to end up in a bad spot. If they are, you end up in a good spot. It's just the way it is. It's human nature. I'll tell you what, I had a guy that was somewhat my mentor. And one time he invited me to his house. And I walked into his house and he had a beautiful tile mosaic, but there was one tile missing, And we were very close. So I said, hey, you have a tile missing. And he says, that is correct. But Pablo, you, like everybody else that's come into this house, only focuses on the missing tile. And that's how human nature is. Did you check the rest of the mosaic, how beautiful it is and what a wonderful balance it has with this and that and whatever? And I said, no, not really. I saw that you have a missing tile, and hey, you have a missing tile. And he says, that's what everybody does in life. And that tile's been missing for 7 years. I do it on purpose. He actually had the tile, but he wouldn't put it up.
That's
and it was a source of, it was a lesson he was teaching everybody, including me. He was teaching me a lesson, because the first thing I said, hey, you got a missing tile. Sometimes we focus on the most petty of things.
Yeah.
But how, you walk into a house that has a beautiful, but it's got a tile, and the tile was not little. It was about yay big like that, 5 inches by 2 inches or something. There was a slender one, but you could try right off the bat. It was missing.
Yeah, so much of it is our mindset.
Oh,
Because we are trained almost to find the error, the mistake, instead of, we have to retrain ourselves. Like the book, The Four Agreements, you have to unlearn everything that you learned as a kid, that you were programmed, society, your parents, religion, and then learn these new agreements, the four agreements.
so the 4 agreements were always try your best.
Always do your best, be impeccable with your word,
Okay.
don't take anything personally, and what was the 4th agreement? Do you know it?
Don't take anything personal. Try your best always. Be impeccable with your words. I should know it. It's the one applies to me. Don't take anything personal. Be impeccable with your words.
Does that have to do with patience? The 4 agreements.
What are you implying?
You're saying the 4 agreements. We should know this. Come on. Never assume.
Oh my God. I say that all the time.
Never assume. Yeah.
If you assume, you
Don't
lose.
make assumptions.
Don't
That's
make
the one.
assumptions.
Yeah, I think those are good laws to live by.
Yeah. We
4
did
agreements.
a podcast on that.
Well, I think that I think in life people are going to try to make you look at the spectacle, the fancy car, the fancy jacket, the fancy watch, the big party that they throw. And that's where they want your attention to be. And many times we fall into that and we focus, oh, look how good they're doing, look at this, look at that, because of what they're giving off, right? But the reality is that sometimes when people do that, there's sometimes they could be trying to hide something,
Right.
trying to, like, if somebody's giving you a gift, is it just coming out of the kindness of their heart, or are they trying to maybe get something out of you? And that's what people have to
Evaluate.
think about.
Yeah, at that point in time.
And again, that's why Robert Greene says, hey, at the beginning, you may not want to read this book because it's going to change the way you look at life.
But see, that's brilliant on his part, because okay, you may not want to read this book because it's going to change you forever. Now I want to read it more than ever.
We should
a warning like that.
We should look at the intro again.
Yeah, and read it. You may not want to read this book because once you get into this book, you'll never see life again the way you saw it before.
Right, and
So-
maybe your ignorance is bliss.
Ignorant is bliss in many
Yeah,
cases. Okay? So he's implying you are potentially naive. And by reading this, you're going to open your eyes, and then now you're not going to be naive anymore, but now you're going to have this additional edge.
Yeah, but it's to protect yourself from people taking advantage,
Well,
right?
some
That's-
people will use it to take advantage of others.
Some people will also use
You
it.
know?
Yeah.
So, hey, you know what? But karma, like they say, karma is a tremendous thing, right?
Yeah, that's why
it's around the corner.
That's why you say, look, I don't necessarily agree with this. I wouldn't want to use this law. We struggle with some of these because
Yeah, I struggle with a couple of them.
because
I had a
it's
hard
not
time with
something-
this one, even trying to,
Yeah,
pick up on it. It was difficult for me.
yeah, but
I'm not trying to imply I'm Mr. Goody Two Shoe or anything
no,
like
but
that.
you're trying to live your life a certain way, and you don't necessarily find interest in that.
No,
Um,
because I'm finding, this guy's charging money to cure people of illnesses because
but-
of what the moon is doing 250,000 miles
Look,
away is,
that happens.
yes.
I mean, we've gone to seminars where they're asking for 10 grand for what? They're asking for 10 grand for the secrets to how to do this real
Right.
estate deal, how to do this
Internet investing.
Amazon,
and, yeah,
whatever. Like,
ship
we've,
dropping.
yeah. So
And some of it may work, but
maybe, but it still goes on. And that's
Yeah.
why I think it's important to be aware of it. And we've gotten through our experiences in business where we've seen these situations take place. So
correct.
anything else you want to throw in off the air? You wanted to say, said you were going to throw something in. You wanted to say something.
I already did.
Oh, you already said it? Okay. All right, cool.
All right.
Then we'll wrap it up there.
All
Thank
right.
you.